Okay. Let's see about it. Looks like that's set up. Really got to figure out the proper way to set up streams, but I'm not that concerned. I don't take this very seriously. Alright. I want to kind of experiment with the colors and stuff this time. I'm just gonna have the characters just kind of disabled for now. Man, that angle's real bad. Okay, that's gonna bother me if I don't fix that first. So I'll deal with this first. But yeah, I do want to try and get the colors kind of at least blocked out, kind of get an idea of what I want it to look like. So that's the plan. Let's see, what do I want this? So like, maybe somewhere like there. Just like you here. Yeah, that's a little weird about that. A little higher, maybe. Yeah, how does that look? Yeah, that looks a lot better. Somewhere around there. Could I just use the straight line tool? Sure. Could I turn on brush smoothing? Sure. Do I want to? No. I want to do this by hand. Why? Because I can. See if that angle looks at least a little better. Yeah. It's fine. I'll just go with that, sure. Merge those down. Oh, let's just create a new folder for colors. And I have been experimenting a little with the whole layers and stuff. I'm planning to make my line art kind of stuff on the yellow layers and colors on purple layers, just to keep things organized. I don't really have a reason I picked those colors. I mean, I just kind of pick colors I like. But anyways, let's see. I general thought, I want this to be nighttime, this scene. So this is like this thing here is a moon. This is another planet off in the distance. Still not sure how that's going to look. I'm kind of winging this, but this is a tree. But yeah, let's see. This is all going to be grass, but at nighttime, I guess it would be like almost a greenish, maybe with a slight blue tint because of the sky. I don't know. I'll just start experimenting with various colors and kind of see how things look. Kind of like color, maybe a little more green, probably. Yeah. This obviously isn't going to be finals. This is going to be pretty quick and sketchy. See how things look. Let's see, is that going to blow everything up? I am on the eraser. Yep, that's what I thought. What's the layer option? I forget. I know there's an option here to do only certain. Here it is. Yeah, only do the like everything in the okay. We're not gonna bother with that then. Unless if I just go around the edge first, that should allow me to fill it in. Oh, I didn't even notice that tree totally does not go to the edge. I'm gonna fix that real quick. That color. Yeah. That one. That should allow me to fill that in. Okay, still doesn't want to work. I'm not going to worry about it. I am on the wrong layer, that's why. That can work now? No. You know what? Not going to bother experimenting with that anymore. It's not working. I have had it work in the past. I don't remember how I got it working now. Who's messaging me on Steam? What is this timing? Oh, I forgot to switch back. Clean this up a little bit. Really don't need to be using such a huge eraser for that, but maybe a square eraser would be better here, but it's whatever. I feel like that's my go-to statement at this point for this whole thing. It's whatever. Ever experiment with like any of the other layer types besides whatever the default one is? I've heard like multiplying everything is good for shadows though. I might try experimenting with that on this. Just see if I can get a interesting color on the grass and everything. I will have that other light source right smack dab in the middle of the photo or painting, picture, drawing, whatever the correct term is, eventually. But for now, that does not exist. Yeah. Really curious. I'm trying to decide what I want that planet to look like, because like I want it to be another habitable planet in addition to this one, so it's like, I don't know, something in the far off future that could be explored. I feel like that's cool cool little mystery kind of thing. I imagine it like in the same orbit as this planet, so technically I guess I would make them both planetoids instead of planets or something like that, since they haven't cleared out their entire orbit, but they're both planets in my book. Would there realistically be enough matter and stuff to have two reasonably sized habitable planets in the same orbit? I don't know. Maybe the science works out somehow, but I don't know. Grass. I guess I could have included the whole... I'm thinking too much about this. Let's just do the sky next. What color even is the night sky? That looks like a good color. Ooh, I do like that color. It's a nice blue. Okay, I know I said I wouldn't, but I really want to get this working. How can I get it to multi-layer? Maybe? Is that... Oh, it worked! Okay, that had nothing to do with the tag thing, but... Oh, I never even had the yellow one selected, that's why. Oh my god. I'm just gonna experiment with it real quick. Yeah, okay, wow, I just didn't have it selected properly. Okay, well. Mystery solved. Yeah, that means I can just erase this real quick. I should be able to just... Oop. I'm on the eraser. Voila. It might even be a little too blue. I can always just... boom. But I do like the blue color. It's kind of nice. Obviously, these aren't going to be like final colors or anything either. This is just to get an idea of what it looks like. Now, the water... I mean, that is reflecting the sky, but like, it's water. It's always depicted as blue. So I'm going to make it a little more blue. That's a little too close to the watercolor. Look. Okay, maybe if I just take this color, I'll make the sky a little darker. Make the water the color sky was. That's good enough. What do I want to call all this stuff in the sky? Details is fine. So the moon, it's gonna be like a kind of like a creamy color, I guess. How I imagine it looking. Mostly white, very, very light white tint, and the rest is gonna be in shadow, so it's gonna be very dark. I want to blend in a lot with the sky though, so I'm gonna just take that color, desaturate a little. Nope. Bruh. No. Take that, saturate it and darken a little. That's all right. This is a little too bright, I guess. Just. Oh, No, it's a little too dark now. Somewhere in the middle, like that, maybe? Yeah, I'll go with that. What do I want this planet to look like? I'll just make it Earth-like for now. Sure, it's a generic green glob. That's a continent, all right. Probably like something else, like down there, sure. That looks habitable. Bothers me that this one doesn't go to the edge for some reason. There we go. Perfect. But it looks a little bright. I'm going to darken it a little because I don't want that to detract from the focus. Rest the image. This back to... Nope, I'm an eraser again. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Like somewhere around like there. Like that. Oh my god, it looks like a little cat! I love that. Oh my god, I'm leaving that. That was 100% intentional, yes. Definitely. Probably peeking in like there a little bit. Yeah, I know it's not accurate, but I like the little cat. Alright, now let's get this tree in, and then I'll do the rocks. What is a brown but a dark orange? At least on computers. I don't know if that holds true in real life. And then leaves be... How does that color look? That looks fine. Probably this guy's starting to bother me a little. I think I'm gonna just make it more pitch black. I made it too blue again. Saturate a little. That looks decent, yeah. I said that last time too, though. Let's see if I just go back a couple. You know, it's definitely a lot darker. Oh, I should have like stars. Let's just be like very light yellow, maybe? Just random dots. Actually, I wonder if I just make a really tiny airbrush. How's that? I guess the idea down. Figure out how to properly draw stars later. And then stones. or rocks. I don't want to change the name halfway through. These are going to just be, I don't know, fairly light gray. Lighting will obviously vary by face, but just get the base colors in for now. Oh, interesting. I don't. Something like that, sure. Yeah, I'm not gonna bother with the shading yet, just because I'm gonna have to figure that out once I get the other light source in. We'll see. Anyways, going back to the characters. I realized after streaming last time that the pose I'm drawing is kind of not what I want. It's like he's just kind of like hunchback, leaned over. Should be more like he's like leaning forward, like straightening his back while leaning. That makes sense. I'm not sure I'm explaining that properly, but basically this entire thing is garbage, and I'm erasing it. So we're making that like this very low opacity, whatever the correct word is. I'm gonna make this pretty much black. I also, he's like sitting way too far back now that I look at it. And he's holding his arm like straight out instead of having like bent. Like this entire thing is just awful. I don't know how I was ever satisfied with that. And again, I feel that way looking at any of my old drawings, which there's not many of. I'm still pretty new to this. You get the idea though. Anyways, let's start with like the base, I guess, where he's actually in contact with the stone or rock. It's gonna be somewhere around here, probably. He just turned a little, so it's like something like this, maybe. Why did I draw that so tiny? In every direction but the one that I want it to be small on. That's still too narrow. Maybe a little. But whatever. So yeah, and then I guess actually this would be leaned forward a little too. How would I even draw that? I guess if I just raise this up a little higher and have it like tilted almost. That'll be... Get the idea across, probably. Yeah, I kind of like that. That looks fine. And then the other half is like something like that, yeah. that's way too long, but... Yeah, the spine would be like something like this. Connecting here. Accidentally almost looks like it's slightly twisted, which is sort of what I was going for. That's leaning way too far forward, I feel like, though. Actually, no, because the legs are going to be moved. Like, the legs are like a sphere, like, almost in that box, I guess. Yeah. The shoulders somewhere, like, here. Arm. Maybe something more like this. Gonna be looking totally sideways, or is it gonna be more like 3/4 angle? I almost feel like a side profile I could show off a little more if I want to. Oh, whoa, hello. Actually I have someone in chat. What's going on? Hello. Not much. What's up with you? Good to hear. Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm doing pretty good myself. I don't know. Pretty relaxing day at work and stuff today, so just messing around, drawing a little bit now. What are we drawing? It's just kind of the generic scene I have in my head. I don't know, it's I have a whole fantasy world that I have been world building for a while. Just kind of trying to get a little scene down. I don't know, it's just two characters just on a trip a little bit. One of them showing off a little magic to the other. That's kind of the idea behind this. Still trying to figure out exactly how to get this pose down, though. I don't know. I'm pretty new to drawing, so this whole thing is pretty difficult. Tell me about my work. Oh boy. Oh man. Oh, where to start? Yeah, I don't know. It's long story short, it's a fairly generic fantasy world. I've always been a huge fan of fantasy. Just, it's a place for me to have characters and stories and stuff, a bit of escapism, all that. The two characters that I'm drawing in this scene, the one that's going to be showing off the magic, this one on the left, he goes by, his nickname is same as my username, Brigith, and the other character is going to be here, eventually, sitting on the other rock. Is another character, Aina, who is just another character that goes on a lot of adventures and stuff with him. I don't know. Nothing too crazy. Bit of magic, some dragons, fighting demons and stuff. All that good stuff. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, in some ways, like, classic fantasy is a little overplayed. There's a lot of it that, like, it's all good stuff. So in some ways, it's, like, hard to live up to that, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, I kind of agree. I wish there was more just, classic adventure fantasy stuff nowadays. It's always been my favorite genre. If you have any good, fantasy recommendations, books, or shows or anything, I'm always interested in learning more. I feel like I have so much information about this world in my head, but I never know what to actually say about it if someone asks me about that. I don't know. If someone gets me started on a topic, I could probably talk for hours, but I don't know. Just talking about it, getting started can be hard. It's more something that I just imagine scenes and stuff in. Let's see. I do want to have some little, like, just kind of swirling ball of mana, little light source right there, make the picture a little interesting. That's kind of the vision I have in mind for this. Particular media that inspired some ideas. I was thinking about the other day, and I kind of realized that the book series, the whole series, the Inheritance Cycle, I think it's called, with like Aragon, Eldest, all of those. I read those a bunch of times when I was younger, and until someone pointed out to me, I did not realize that has a huge influence on my my world. Random little snippets of how things work, pretty much identical to that book series. Other than that, I don't know. I do watch a good amount of anime that has a pretty big influence on my world as well. I mean, I have plenty of cat girls and fox girls and all that. Gotta love those. What am I saying? Yeah, I don't know. I grew up reading a lot of fantasy books, so plenty of those you can probably find influences. Most of them subconscious. I didn't really try and pick or choose much from any of them, but they just kind of found their way into my world. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I still find it a bit embarrassing to talk about my interests for whatever reason. Was teased a little bit too much when I was younger for liking anime, I guess. I'm glad it's more mainstream now. People aren't as upset about it anymore, I guess. Do you have any interests you like to talk about or anything? Hmm. How do I want this pose to look? I want to have like kind of the hands towards the edge here. Eat sleep game. Classic. I play plenty of video games myself. Playing a bunch of Titanfall 2 recently, actually. Didn't get into that when it released, but I like me a good movement shooter. What kind of games do you like? This looks so weird. What am I drawing? Ooh, horror games. Interesting. Any recommendations? I've really played many horror games. I don't know. I've played Phasmophobia with a couple friends. That was a fun one, but I don't know. Haven't gotten back into it. Dead Space. Ooh, I've definitely heard of that one. Might have to check it out. Out of curiosity, what about horror games do you enjoy? Storyline, okay. Yeah, I'll just be sitting straight up, probably. Oh, maybe it's like a little behind them. That would make a little more sense. Think about that doesn't feel right. Maybe leaning back a little. Oh, the atmosphere deep theme. I see. Oh, that's kind of cool. I hadn't really considered that angle of it. Yeah, I guess, yeah, horror games definitely atmosphere sounds like that would be a pretty big part of it. I could definitely understand that. Mental problems. Wow, that's quite a heavy theme though. That does sound pretty cool though. I might have to check some of them out. I don't know. Like on the very edge, and then like hands back here, maybe. Oh man, I'm like I'm trying to like keep up with chat, think of it there things to like talk about also drawing. This is kind of interesting. I haven't really done much streaming before, so it's kind of difficult to I'm not sure how people that do this as a career actually pull this off. First, more like down and then back. What's that look? It's not bad. This won't be completely hidden. A professional yapper. Interesting. Do you stream yourself, or are you just familiar with the whole space, I guess? Yeah, I don't know, just keeping up a conversation, trying to read chat and stuff. It's definitely seems like a skill you gotta build up over time. Part of me wants to take streaming more seriously because it seems like fun, but it also seems pretty difficult. For now, I'll just keep doing it for fun every now and then. Maybe try and throw some games in here every now and then, but we'll see where life takes me. Oh, nice. Well, I appreciate it. I feel like smaller streams, I mean, streams this small might be a little too small sometimes, but I feel like smaller streams, a little easier to talk with the streamer, I guess. I can see why that would be fun. I am actually kind of curious, since I don't have like any advertising, obviously, or anything, just the fun little thing. How do you end up finding small streams like this? Like, I'm surprised I even have a single person in chat outside of like friends that I occasionally feel like watching me. Entire top half just seems a little too tall. Huh. Fair enough, yeah, I mean, that works. Any other topics you like to browse trying to find small streams, or just whatever crosses your mind? I feel like gaming is kind of the classic streamer kind of thing, but I can understand why. Fair enough, yeah, whatever crosses your mind. Drawing humans is hard, man. Oh, whoa, is Krita glitching? Uh-oh. No, it crashed! Oh no, I didn't save in a long time. That's not good. Oh, I think that's the first time I've ever had Krita crash on me. Let's see when the last autosave was, I guess, because I have not been saving regularly. Not that far back. We're good. Well, I didn't lose that much. Still not even sure if I like this pose. One on the left I'm alright with. I'm alright with that. I mean, proportions and stuff a little wonky, but it's whatever. I'm not great at drawing humans yet. Someday maybe I will be, but now is not that time. It just feels a little weird having them like lean back weirdly like this. Any cool conspiracy theories? Ooh. Not really. I don't know. I'm not much into the conspiracy theory realm, but I don't know. What kind of conspiracy theories do you have in mind? Does seem like a cool idea, conspiracy theories. I'm sure. Atlantis. Ooh. So the way I see it, I have a feeling there was a city that it's at least based on. I don't think there is like a literal lost city somewhere underwater. But I feel like all the stories may be based on some city that actually existed at some point. It would be pretty cool if it did exist, though. If we do discover something like that someday, I do wonder what we'll find there. The idea of an entire city underwater is crazy to me, though. I'm not a huge fan of the ocean, so, I'll leave that for other people to investigate. Earth 1,000 years in the future. Ooh, that's fun to think about. I mean, it's really hard to predict what technology will be like, because I'm sure in 1,000 years, the stuff that we have, I can't even possibly imagine right now. Like I've seen some interesting things, like looking back, like even just like 50 so years ago, like what technology they thought we'd have today, it's totally different than what we actually have. If I can guess a little, I want to say, I mean, computers obviously will keep getting better. Quantum computers slowly becoming a thing. I'm sure that'll eventually be much more prevalent. So I'm hopeful that we'll have some really cool technology way off in the future. 1,000 years? I don't even know if we'll be able to tell the difference between like computers and like humans, seeing as how AI is already advancing so fast in our time. But that is I don't know, 1,000 years off, there's gonna be some crazy stuff. That is assuming humans make another 1,000 years without destroying ourselves. That's a whole another discussion, though. What else would we have in 1,000 years? I mean, in 1,000 years, I could definitely see humans being like, I was about Mars, yeah. I was about to say, I could totally see humans, like, colonizing other planets, like, say, Mars, or maybe someday other solar systems, but that would take some crazy technology. If we find some way to, like, break light speed, which physically, obviously not possible from our understanding, would be cool if we did, though. But yeah, I could definitely, Mars for sure, I could definitely see that happening. Within our lifetimes, I doubt that. for like a permanent settlement, but I definitely think Mars will be inhabited someday by humans. I could definitely see that happening. Maybe it'll take a couple hundred years before it's really sustainable. I'm sure terraforming Mars would be quite a bit of work. I don't even know how that works, but yeah, I could definitely see people living on Mars in the far off future. Would have a lot of implications though, like how would they, I mean, timekeeping, everything, would they use the same stuff we use on Earth? I mean, Mars is a different rotational and revolutionary period, so it's like 24 hours, 365 days a year. That doesn't apply. It's like, how would they communicate with Earth? I'm sure they'd be like their own independent like countries and everything. Like, it would be a really interesting concept to mess around with. Which it's vaguely related to my fantasy world. I do, in my mind, have a second planet that is habitable. I haven't actually done anything with that, but if that explains anything, yeah, I love the idea of colonizing other planets. Maybe my issue with this pose is it's not leaning enough. Let's try again. So if they're like right on the edge, like leaning way back. It's like their hands are all the way back here. A main villain. So I have a couple different stories that kind of take place in my world that I have like in my mind. None of the, like, I guess the main quote unquote main story that was like the first one I ever really worked on. I guess there is a sort of main villain. It's kind of a group that long story short, they are trying to find a way to bring back some whole crazy demon lord from the past that they think for whatever reason he's gonna like praise them and lead them to a better life. Realistically, they just end up pretty much threatening to destroy the world, so they're kind of the main villains of the whole story. It's not one person though. That's where all the demons and stuff come into play. Yeah, I have some other stories vaguely in my mind that have various other villains, but that's kind of the main villain, I'd say, of my world. Maybe the hands would be a little more like this kind of shape. The wrist would be there. Up. Oh my god, why are people messaging me on Steam? Concept of hell. So when I say like demons and demon lords, that's just kind of the term that I'm using for them. They're not actually like literal demons. Oh man, if I try and dive into this explanation, it's gonna be a bit, but long story short, the whole concept of demons, they are originally were animals that were just people used magic to pretty much enhance them and plan to use them as in like wars and stuff. And the magic just kind of influenced them in weird ways, and they ended up just becoming evil and trying to just kill humans on sight. So they just kind of became referred to as demons. That's what they are when I say demons. The demon lord was this just a normal person that created these demon animals. So it's not really a concept of hell. It is something interesting to think about, though. I haven't really considered. People in my world would probably want some concept of an afterlife, a heaven and a hell. I could definitely find some cool way to think about that. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't really thought much about religion in my world, because I didn't intend for that to be a major influence on any of my stories yet, so someday I would like to include that in some way or another, because, I mean, religion's always been a driving force for humanity in one way or another, so could also lead to some interesting stories, I think. The origin of magic. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's an interesting concept. With the way I kind of create a magic is, it pretty much, there's like a magic realm, sort of, which is where souls reside, and all magic is just that plane of existence or realm or whatever you want to call it, kind of exerting influence on the physical world, because physical world and magical world are pretty much entirely separate most of the time, but the like living things are the one thing that kind of breaches that. That's kind of the way I think of it. So magic all comes from this other realm, and yeah, living things are able to harness the energy of that realm to create magical phenomena in various ways, and that energy of that realm is mana. That's that's pretty much where it comes from. In terms of various spells and stuff, and how those are invented, that's all just people throughout history coming up with cool concepts and teaching them to others. Man, now you got me thinking, like, where did that, like, magical realm come from? I don't know. I guess physical world, magical world, I guess they just always kind of existed. That's all I'm gonna think of before. Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly one, like, dying in a sense. It's just the two realms just kind of playing off of each other. The way I think of it is the magical realm is where all, like, thought and consciousness exists, and the physical realm is everything else. So when you have one but not the other, nothing really happens, because physical realm, there's without the magical realm, there's nothing living, so it'd just be like rocks and stones and stuff. Magical realm, there's no physical stuff to act on, so it'd just be souls constantly thinking, but having nothing to put their thoughts to, if that makes sense. So they're not really, like, sucking the life out of each other. They're kind of, it's a symbiotic relationship. Can they traverse the other realm? So, it's... I mean, the way I think of it is, it's like the physical realm versus magical realm. The physical realm is where everything that we think of as, like, existing exists. So, there's not really a way to traverse the other realm, because it's not, like, a physical location. It's just where stuff kind of, like, souls kind of exist. I don't know. It's not something I've put that much thought into. It's just a vague concept and kind of an excuse to have a way for souls to exist and have magic able to influence the world in some way or another. I guess there are, like, some souls that manage to, like, break into the physical world, in a sense. Like the world of imagination. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's actually a great description of how I kind of imagine it. Realm of imagination. I kind of like that. That's actually a very good way to describe it. Yeah, I mean, I appreciate it. I think so too. That's why I've spent so long building it, but yeah, honestly, it's like at its core, I'm sure it's similar stuff has been done. I'm trying to like think of examples, but I don't know. I don't feel like it's that original in a sense. Not that that bothers me at all. I just, I'm sure there's other people that have done similar things. It is a fun concept to play around with, though, having like a second dimension to be able to work with. Yep. Yeah, it's, there's not really an original thought left in the world, or whatever that quote is. Yeah. Humans are always, building off of others and reaching new heights. I think that's, one of the things that makes, humanity so great. A kingdom in the background. Yeah, I feel like I could add something, like, I don't know, maybe like hidden over here, like behind the tree area. Could definitely include something like that. I have like a whole vague idea of what I want the map to look like and like where this scene specifically takes place. Trying to think what would kind of be in the background. Let me see if I can pull up the, yeah, this is the map I made years ago. Don't need the autosave of that one. This was the map of the continent I was working on years ago. Of this world. I was just playing around with it the other day. I'm trying to think, like, in my head, this whole story is kind of, or this scene is like early in one of the stories I have in mind, as the characters like traveling from like this area up to here to the mountains. So it's like this area is all like plains and there's like a desert here. I'm trying to think, like, maybe if I have some mountains in the background or something. I don't know. A kingdom might just be fun to throw in there. I'll have to think about it. This is going to be a very long-term image, so I'm not too worried about getting every little detail down right now. Oh, there's a whole bunch of kingdoms, and they're all fighting, and... yeah, I have a very vague history in mind. I kind of break it down to a couple regions in my head, but the main one is there is some whole, like, this area was like a giant empire that conquered most of the continent and then kind of collapsed. And now there's like 3 groups down here. There's like kingdom here. This whole section is broken into like 4 little kingdom here. So there's all sorts of countries and all sorts of wars and all that stuff. It's certainly not a utopia. But yeah, I feel like as bad as conflict can be, makes for some interesting stories, so I definitely want to include that in some way, shape, or form. Not all of them are technically kingdoms, though. They have, like, various governments and stuff of different kinds. At least, I imagine they do. I haven't figured out all the details of that, but... oh, I should really keep saving often. Don't want the program to crash on me again. What are they fighting over? Terrain, money, ability control, all of magic. What do humans ever fight over? They think they're better than everyone else. They want more money. Classic stuff like that. Yeah, trying to think, like... yeah, I mean, most of the motivations for conflicts that I have in my vague outline of the history, it's mostly just all politics of one country dislikes another, and they all fight over it in one way or another, like the Empire conquering all these other countries, and they eventually get fed up and don't want to be a colony of the Empire anymore, so they throw a revolt so they can have their own government, and then stuff like that. Brief summary of all the kingdoms and their beliefs. Oof. Oh boy, that's I don't know if I've full detail on all that, but basic gist of what I have right now. Let's how's blue look for outlining here? Maybe yellow. So this section down here is kind of two at this point. They used to be one kingdom. There was a whole civil war. Now they're split in 2. They hate each other. This one, in my mind, is very quickly collapsing as all my stories are taking place. So it's not going to exist soon enough. But this one's very classic European inspired kingdom kind of thing. That's the one that was the Empire in the past. They, in my mind, they don't really care for magic for whatever reason. My whole justification is the people in power pretty much consider using magic as showing that you can't hire like a servant or something to do a task for you. So that's one of the few non-magic kingdoms. There's another kingdom that's kind of in this general area, spans this little gap of water, so they control a lot of trade. That kingdom, pretty much, it's one of the newest kingdoms. It came up after some giant conflict, the previous, like, demon war that I mentioned in the past that nearly wiped out the entire continent. that one is just a very large, like, trade center kind of kingdom. They flourish on trade, have tons of different people coming in there. So it's a very diverse and open country. It's, in my mind, probably one of the better ones to live in. May or may not just be because I want my main characters to end up living in that area, but... there's one country up here, which... very focused on, like, community kind of stuff. Topic of magic. Oh, yes. Yeah, my magic in my world is very... limitless might be a weird word, but... because there are, like, limits and restrictions on it, like, no, like, time travel or anything like that, but... yeah, it's a very soft magic system, is the term I've seen thrown around. It can, in theory... kind of do anything if you put your mind to it. It's just going to be that some spells are going to take a lot of mana, and humans will never be capable of casting them. But yeah, there's all sorts of, like, healing magic. Some people made flight magic. Obviously, like, making fire, earthbending, like Avatar, airbending kind of stuff. All sorts of fun stuff. My, main character in my story is this dude. His whole thing is, he kind of created a whole type of magic himself where he just takes mana and pretty much makes a solid object out of it. And that's, he uses it in various ways. Like making, like, armor and weapons and stuff when he's fighting demons. Making little tools or something if he's missing something, like a chair or something. Little things like that, so... I like to keep it nice and open so I can have magic do whatever I want. I think that's a little more fun. But there are certainly rules and restrictions on it, so it's not all powerful. Because that would be a little ridiculous, in my opinion. Some people can make it work, though. Yeah, I love just, like, scenes of, like, magical, mystical, fantasy kind of stuff. I would love to incorporate some of those into my world. Like, I imagine there's a whole, like, rainforest up here where it's, like, there's some massive, impossibly large trees. There's just, like, really dense, deep parts that you can't see anything. There's, like, a whole forest over here, which all the trees are, like, white, like, caves filled with, like, giant magic gems and everything. Oh, man, I love that kind of imagery. Oh, man, that was actually probably the first thing I ever created in my world. Before I really planned on having a world, I just, in my head, had little scenes of fantasy worlds, like, images like that I just kind of, like, envisioned in my mind. I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And before I knew it, I had enough of those that I suddenly had a world. And it's been slowly adding to it ever since, a little by little. Unique wildlife. Wildlife is one of the things I haven't really worked on. I would love to, but... I don't know. Yeah, I really haven't created any animals or anything outside of, like, the various fantasy races and a handful of demon kind of things. I do know some of the races, they are very human-like, but they, like, evolved from other animals. So there are certainly other types of animals, but haven't really created them. I have some... The couple of the races, I have, like, ones that are vaguely like cat people, some that are like fox or wolf people. So those kinds of animals do exist, a lot of the same ones we have on Earth, but yeah, nothing too unique that I've created yet, but that definitely could be fun to mess with someday. Ooh, historic dungeons. Yes, I have a handful of things. So in my mind, not on this continent, but like way off on another continent, up like, I don't know, probably like that away or something. I don't know. Somewhere off north of this continent. There's another continent that long ago was had some people living on it, but now it's completely abandoned and destroyed, so there's a whole bunch of ruins and stuff to explore there. This whole region, after the whole Demon Wars, that was pretty much wiped out. Plenty of dungeons and stuff there. And then I don't know exactly how I can fit it into the world, but I do want to have at least one, like, relatively generic, like, fantasy dungeon kind of thing with, like, multiple floors, and, like, at the very bottom there's, like, a treasure room kind of thing. How that would exist in my world, I don't know yet, but it sounds cool. I love those kinds of things. The only thing I can think of right now is there are, like, what's the word, like, ley lines or whatever, like, basically just, like, streams of mana traveling throughout underneath the continent. I'm sure I could say, like, those somehow create these dungeons in some way. Would also be an excuse for as to why they are constantly moving around or shifting or having new treasure in them. Trying to think if there's any other old dungeons or ruins or anything, but those are the main ones that I've kind of added. Immortals of Avion. Okay. I can't say I've heard of that one. What's the game about? Ooh. Ooh, that sounds fun. Fantasy magic shooter. Ooh. You have piqued my interest. Oh my. That sounds like a very fun concept. I'm gonna have to look into that one. Is it on Steam, or is it, like, independent, or where would I be able to find it? Okay. Yeah, I mostly play on my computer, so I'll look it up on Steam. Trying to think what this that's gonna be casting some kind of glow on the surrounding area. I haven't messed with multiply layers before. How does that even work? Just properties, blending mode, multiply. Oh, let's see how this works. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out at some point. Yeah, it's kind of what I had in mind. He's just showing off some kind of little, like, light spell, teaching this character about magic, because they haven't really experienced it much before. So yeah, it's just a little kind of floating ball of light mana kind of thing. That was the image I had in my head when originally sketching this out. I also imagine magic stuff as a vague light blue color usually, just because I like the color blue. That is my only reasoning. Whoa. Thanks. I thought really hard about that one. Interesting. Multiply layers are weird. How does this work? Is it only darken? No, if I just make it pure white. Oh, is it? Yeah, it looks like you can only darken stuff? Interesting. What are the other types of layers? Multiply. Lighten? That sounds promising. Wait, what's soft light? No. Let's see what this one's. Okay, no, that's not what I want. I really should look into what these actually do before trying to use them, but whoa, that's funky. Is this one? Kind of curious. I'm just messing with the different blending modes right now. I don't know what any of them do. Multiply seem to darken. Luminosity is lighten. Yup. Oh, divide. That sounds like the opposite of multiply. That sounds promising. Why is it red? Why is it orange now? Oh, man. Oh, boy. That was not what I was expecting. Just make this like pure blue? Oh, now it's like neon green? What? Pink? I have no idea how this divide layer works. This is so cool. Green divided by red gives you a light blue, apparently. What does soft light do? Oh, that looks kind of promising. Oh, maybe? I can work with this. Poly theorem. Yeah, that stuff goes right over my head. If I get serious about art, I should probably learn that stuff, but for now, I'm just having fun. If I airbrush on this layer, what is that gonna look like? Intriguing. Kind of like this. Yeah, exactly. Like, I have an actual job. That's not gonna make this into a second job. Although, if I could make money off of this, might be kind of nice, but it might also just completely ruin art for me, so I'm gonna stay away from that. Would be kind of cool if I could do this instead of my normal job, though. I am nowhere near good enough to do that, though. Whoa, what's going on with the shading there? What? Whoa, okay. That's just airbrush being weird. Yeah, certainly more relaxing. Trying to get the right mix of, like, blue, but not, like, so much so that it looks weird. Oh, God, yeah. Being a full-time YouTuber sounds like it's 95% luck. I don't see how anyone can pull that off. Although, I mean, I have some friends that are really into video editing. I could see them doing it maybe someday. So I feel like that is at least a part of it, being passionate about making videos and stuff. I don't know. Well, yeah, I'm just gonna make a new layer. Yeah, I think I might just leave trying to figure out how basic shading works for another night. I think I'm pretty happy with where I've gotten for tonight. So I think I might be ending the stream here in a second. But I appreciate you stopping by and chatting with me. It was fun. At this point, I don't have any regular schedule. It's, I don't know, just whenever, the mood strikes me. I will be pretty busy for the next, 2 weeks or so, though, so probably nothing for the foreseeable future. But I appreciate the subscribe. Yeah, I appreciate it. Hope to see you around, and I hope you have fun wherever life takes you. So, see ya.